Hello again, my dear viewers. Morning of March 18 and traditional information from the front line. The southern direction is a temporary lull. By the way, I want to comment the video posted by the Ukrainian Rada deputy Losha Ganchurenko about his liberation campaign against the Herson region. In fact, this was the goal for which the so-called counteroffensive of the armed forces of Ukraine was carried out in this area, to show the whole world, and especially Ukraine, that Russia doesn't control everything in the Herson region. For the PR campaign, no one needs a village on the border of Nikolaev and Herson regions was chosen. You can get there by car in 20 minutes. This is a result of the attack. Russian troops retreated from Nikolaev to 15 kilometers so as not to incur additional losses while the offensive on Odessa is cancelled. All combat activities transferred north to the Kryvyi Rog region. In Herson, according to my information, the situation is calm. The new government is working normally, Russian troops are inside, there are checkpoints around the city. Obviously, no one wants to storm the city, and the goal of the PR action has been achieved, showing a village in the Herson region now under the control of Russia. It's clear that Ukrainian troops will definitely not pass 40 kilometers across the open space to storm Herson. Moreover, this night Russia will bring her heavy multiple-launch rocket system Smerch, which can inflict serious damage to Nikolaev garrison. Last night the Kulbakova airfield and the barracks of the 79th Brigade were hit. There are no data on losses yet, but I think they are significant. The situation in Mariupol. The Russian offensive is going well. I expect that today the troops of the armed forces of Ukraine in this city are divided into two parts, which will be further destroyed. The problem will be solved in a few days. After the clean side of the city, the troops will be transferred to the north to reinforce the DPR. There they successfully advance in the direction of Kurakova. I note that I was asked to tell the inhabitants of Uglidar that they don't have any troops in the city. There is a difficult humanitarian situation there today. There is no heating and it's cold outside. In apartments, the temperature drops to 0 degrees. People in the city are barely surviving. Similarly, the battles near Marinka, the DPR offensive continues, but the armed forces of Ukraine are fighting desperately here. I would like to pay special attention to the northern direction of Slavyansk, because the inhabitants of Slavyansk and Kramatorsk told me that the Russian army was already approaching. Shots and explosions were heard. It seems that the front of the offensive of the Russian army is located here today. Also, skirmishes have been heard for several days in the Barvenkova area, where small forward units of Russian troops have entered. Apparently, Ukrainian troops are trying to dislodge them out of here. There are more and more reports that the Russian army bypassed Izum with large forces and crossed through Seversk and Donetsk, went south and reached the border of Kharkov and Donetsk regions. Kyiv. So far it has not been confirmed that Russia has either started to take over or has already taken Boryshivka. This is a small town next to the Kyiv-Kharkov highway in the east. There are also reports of active offensive operations by the Russian armed forces north of Kyiv near Vyshgorod. Let me remind you that here Russia crossed the Irpin River and is now trying to build on its success in order to cut off the Kyiv garrison from the Kyiv reservoir, where Ukraine is trying to throw saboteurs. At the moment, this is all in use for the last hours. See you in the evening.